Evoto is an editing productivity powerhouse for photographers who want to work faster without compromising quality. From batch editing to retouching and just editing faster than ever, in this video, I'm gonna break down how I use Evoto's blemish removal feature to easily clean up skin distractions and blemishes in seconds. Then I'll show you how to use the skin retouching feature that keeps texture while smoothing uneven tones. And then we'll look at the background adjustment where you can clean and simplify backgrounds in seconds. Let's see why Evoto might be the smartest editing move you'll make this year. Let's cover todo el pedo. Now, the first feature I want to show you is going to be under the portrait retouching section. Now, if I zoom in here, you'll see that we do have some blemishes and some acne that we might want to get rid of here. So on the first section here, you'll see freckles and acne. Look at this. In a few seconds, I've instantly removed it. And if I hold the space bar, and the space bar is the shortcut, by the way, to see the before and after. Now, I know one of the things you might think, well, oh my gosh, it might look too artificial. That's what's cool about this feature, is that you have a scale here to determine, well, how much do I want to show and decrease? Now, another feature that's also important, let's pretend that there was a blemish down here that I didn't want to be removed, right? Even if I bring it down, well, all the other blemishes show up. Let me leave it at rate, let's say about 88%. There is a built-in mask feature. So if I click this button, it says manual tuning. The interface will then turn red. And now I can adjust the size of the brush, the softness, and the flow. I'm going to go ahead and leave my settings like this. And look what happens when I erase it. I'm telling Evoto in this area, leave it alone. Do not mess with any of the blemishes in this section. And when I hit OK, look what happens. It then stays left alone. Now, there are plenty of features in Evoto that we're going to look at. Now, I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to show you some of the main ones that I would use as a portrait photographer. So here you'll see that there's a little bit of shine on the forehead. I can reduce the face shine. Now, one of the things that I've found in Evoto is to be very subtle with my sliders. Once you start getting a little bit too cute and chiflado and going like full maxed out, it starts to make things look artificial, which we don't want. Now let's look at the eye bags. We do have a little bit of eye bags here. I'm going to increase this. And just with those two sections, or three, you'll see photos already looking great. Now I'm going to show you in a little bit. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make this as a preset so you can apply it to multiple photographs. So we're going to get into presets in a little bit. So just hold on a second here. All right, so now that we have that, of course, there's other things here, but these things I'm not going to necessarily need for her. But there is one that I do find helpful. Sometimes the armpits, especially like, not that she has bad armpits, but there's times where there's wardrobe where we can see the armpits, and this allows me to just refine it ever so slightly. So once again, hold the space bar before and after. We also have body blemishes. So let's say the subject has bruises or anything like that. You can use this slider. But in this case, I like to keep these natural marks here on the skin. So I'm not going to mess with that. Now, when it comes to the skin retouching, you do have dodge and burn and frequency separation. These might be terms that you might be familiar with that you manually do in Photoshop. But here we can do it in seconds. So here it says even dodge and burn. If I increase this, I can even out the skin. Now, once again, I have to emphasize, I like to keep my stuff very, very subtle. Anywhere between 20 and 30. You go all the way to 100, it's going to start looking fake, and that's when you're going to get not good results. So I'm going to leave mine at about 25. Now, sculpt, this would be similar to global dodge and burn. If I increase this, it will just enhance the highlights and the shadows. The same thing. I'm going to try to keep this very subtle. So I'm going to go about maybe 10. And once again, hold the space bar before and then after. Texture smoothing, smoothing, I'm going to leave that alone. Frequency separation, as I've messed with this, I like about 1 to 5. And I find that those give me the best results. Skin softening, I try to leave that alone because I don't want to make it look off or anything like that. And then here, what's cool is that we do have the body skin. So that right now, what we were focused on was the facial. But if I also want to do dodge and burn on the actual skin from the body, I can do that as well, which is really cool. So I can increase this and adjust that and then go here. And once again, in just a matter of a few seconds, I've already got a pretty good start here. Now, another cool feature is the hair. OMG. I don't know about you guys, but these little stray hairs are very difficult to remove, and you can do it manually, of course. It does take a little bit of time, but here, if I go into the hair, right? So you have this little drop down arrow, we can open this guy up, and then right here it says stray hair removal. And if I increase this, this is what we get. So if we look over here, we get the before and then the after. Now, sometimes it'll remove it on the inside. If you don't want to do it within the figure, you can go right here from 100 and then bring it back, and it will leave those there. In this case, it actually did a good job, so I'm going to keep that at 100. Now, sometimes it doesn't do a good job, like right here, and that's okay, right? What we can do is we can tell the hair adjustments, hey, you did a great job everywhere else, like right here and here, but here it's not doing such a good job. So I'm going to get the mask feature that we looked at earlier. I'm going to push the left bracket on the keyboard to make it smaller, right bracket makes it bigger, and I'm going to tell it, hey, just leave this section alone. Everything else was good. Hit OK. And bada bing, bada boom. Now you'll notice that there's some areas that are a little bit blotchy, and you might be thinking, well, man, that's a problem. Eli, what can I do here? Well, up here you have the healing tool. So I'm going to press J on the keyboard as a shortcut to get to it. And then you can get to the patch tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select around, and I'm going to help Evoto make that a little bit smoother, right? So it's leaving some little artifacts after the fact, right? And so boom, boom, and there's still a little bit here. Boom, boom, and bada bing, bada boom. And let me just get this last one here. But you're getting the general idea, right, of what we can do here with Evoto. Now, if you feel like that didn't do such a good job, remember, you can always bring this down, the stray hair removal. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just to double check the rest of the image. It even got some of the stray hairs here. And so far, so good. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Eli, that's cool. You used all these little sliders, right? And we're going to look at some more stuff in a little bit once again. Now, you might think, well, Eli, how am I going to, you're telling me I'm going to have to do that to this image and go through all these sliders? No, no, no. Look at this. So I'm going to go right here, and I can go to Edit, Copy, and then it's going to tell me, what do I want to copy? All the adjustments that I've currently applied here. I'm telling it, yes, I want to copy those. I'm going to hit Save. I'm going to go to this next photo, and I'm going to press Command V on the keyboard to paste it, or you can go to Edit, Paste, and bada bing, bada boom, it's already applied that. So if you wanted to, ladies and gentlemen, you can hold Command on the keyboard, select both of these pictures, Edit, Paste, and bam. In less than 5 seconds, I've already edited this photograph and this one and the other 2 photographs here. So what's really cool is that this speeds up my workflow. I was mentioning that in the intro. Look at this. I've already done a great job. And once again, if the hair doesn't do a good job, it's okay. We just go over here, we get the patch tool, and then we can make those refinements if needed. Now, another feature that I love in Evoto is the red vein removal. So if I look in here, you'll see sometimes we get those little red veins. Look at this. We just increase this, and bada bing, bada boom, we got it done. The next feature I want to show you is the background adjustment section. OMG, this is probably my favorite feature in Evoto. So here, I do a lot of studio work, right? And I don't know about you guys, raise your hand. I don't like cutting my paper, right? You'll see that I try to leave my paper as long as I can because it's expensive, right? And you'll see that we have holes here. There's a lot of scratches, all kinds of stuff, right? So if I look at this image, and if we go over here to the section over here, we were in the portrait retouching section. If I push B on the keyboard, background adjustments, you'll see that we have a clean backdrop. And I'm going to click this feature, and bam, look at that. Gone in a matter of seconds. 1, 2, boom, 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 boom. All right. Now, if there were distractions, we're going to look at this one in a little bit, but in 1 second, look at this, guys. It's completely cleaned it off. So that means I can hold on to my paper a little bit longer if needed. Look at this. I'm still freaking out. It's OMG. Super, super good, right? And so if I also want to, there is unify the lighting as well. Sometimes when I'm using my strobes, some areas might get blotchy. I can go to unify lighting, and I can adjust that if needed. And I can reduce it to a reasonable number. Now, I just showed you the background adjustment section. Keep in mind, her dress is a little bit overexposed. Evoto just doesn't do the portrait retouching and all that stuff. You can also use it to make your adjustments. So here, you'll see that her highlights on her dress are a little bright. I'm going to bring down the highlights. And just like you would normally get in any raw editor, I can go ahead and I can adjust and color grade and use all of the clarity features that you would get in a typical raw editor. Now, I'm not going to go in there in depth and clean up everything. Once again, I just wanted to show you that you can use those features. Now, let's get into another image. OMG. So once again, I do a lot of client work, right? And let me just adjust the exposure here really quick, right? And you'll see that they had this cool idea of getting on top of one another, and the background wasn't big enough. And that's obviously a problem when I get into post-production. It used to be a nightmare trying to fix all of that stuff or getting it to look good. Well, let's go into the background adjustments. Let's do distraction removal. Look what happens. Bam. Let's do the clean backdrop, right? We get some little warps here. Let me zoom in for you guys so you guys could see this. I'm going to go ahead and do clean backdrop. And then let's also unify the lighting. And OMG, in a few seconds, bada bing, bada boom. And one thing I want to emphasize once again, I can copy these settings and apply it to multiple images for batch editing. So I'm going to go back to edit, copy, and then edit, and then paste, right? And let's say that I know with my workflow, right? Because every portrait photographer is different. Some of you might do sports, some of you might do weddings, some of you might just do portraits, birthday sessions, right? You can make this into a preset. So you can automatically apply these settings to every single photo when you import. And I will show you how to import photos and kind of make your catalogs in a second. So in order to make a preset, all you need to do is, if we're going to go right here, it says save preset. And what you're going to do is you can group it. I have one for client presets, and you can make your own group, whatever you want to call it. But I want to make this one into, let's say, clean backdrop. And it's going to tell me, do I want to apply all these other features that I might have used? Yes, I do. And hit save. Okay. So if I go to this image, let's pretend that I imported a bunch of images like this one and this one. I can simply go into clean backdrop, click it once, and my presets are here. Boom, done. Go to this one, clean backdrop, boom, done. Now, if I go to another image over here, so here I have an image. This was another client, right? We got the backdrop that's a little bit dirty. If I zoom in, there's a few blemishes, a couple of flyaway hairs that need to be adjusted. I already have some presets saved. So I'm going to go with this one here, click it once. It already removed some of the blemishes, smoothed out the skin, as you can see there, got rid of the flyaway hairs, and it also cleaned up the background ever so slightly there. So really, really cool. So think about that, guys. Like, I've been saving so much time using Evoto, and it's just been truly, truly amazing to be able to have so much extra free time. The next thing I want to show you is, what if you're working with multiple people? So here I did a family session, right? So you'll see that I got the mirror and the background doesn't look good. So I'm going to apply one of my presets that I already have, right? Boom, gets everything done. Everything looks great. But I do have a male, I have a female, and then I have some kids. So when you go into the portrait retouching section, what's cool is that Evoto will detect there's a male, female, and a child. So why is this important? Well, a female is going to get different skin retouching than a male would. So if I wanted to, I'm just going to overdo it so you guys could see kind of like the difference here. So I'm going to go with the freckles. I'm going to increase that. And then I'm going to get into the skin retouching. I'm going to increase this a little bit more than I usually would. So if I hit the space bar, you'll see that it's only doing it to the female. The male is nothing's going on there, and the child. So what's cool, why is this powerful? Now I can go into the male section and I can specifically adjust his dodge and burn specifically, right? Because a male, they're going to want a little bit more of the texture on the face, right? We don't want to soften it up so much, right? And so this is really, really convenient. And then, of course, we have two children here. I can go to child. And then guess what? I can apply basically these settings independently for each subject. So I can go body blemishes. Since I'm on the child right now, I'm going to zoom in and let me see if I can find, here it is, even dodge and burn, and do that. And you'll see, let me zoom in a little bit more. You'll see that it's just refined it. So what's cool, the before, after, and then look at the background. Boom, boom, boom. Everything done quickly. Another cool feature that I love using is the clothing and accessory adjustments. So right below the background adjustments, we have the clothing and accessories adjustments. If I increase this, you'll see, bam, we've already got the wrinkles out of there. And of course, remember, that's the power of these sliders. We can remove it, increase it, and get exactly the look that we want. Now that I've covered how to edit in Evoto, I want to show you how to create a project and import images really quick. So now what you'll see up here, we had the edit section and we had all the editing features I was talking about. But if I go into the library section, you'll see now I have create project. You can name your project based on what you're doing. So I did a photo shoot for Shop Aliora. You want to give her a follow, by the way. I'm going to put 2 here and you'll have it blank. And this is where I can import images or import a Lightroom catalog. In my case, I'm just going to import images and I already have the folder already set up. So I'm just pretending that this is a client that I haven't completed yet. I'm going to hit open and all of the pictures have been imported. And what's cool once again is that because I have the presets, I can simply go in here and just apply the preset and bam, it's already done. And look at that, super quick and efficient. Now there is a rating system. You can, just like you would in any other raw editor, I can put 5 stars, I can put 3 stars and so forth, and star and rate each of these items. Now I want to show you the sync feature. Because I imported about 40 images, I can apply the same effect all the way through. So I'm going to select the first image, right? We've already selected the preset, right? I'm going to hit sync here. And then now what I'm going to do, because it's in yellow, it's saying, okay, this is the image that we're going to reference. I've already applied all of the adjustments. And as you can see here, it's done the background, it's done some skin retouching, etc. And then I'm going to scroll all the way across and I'm going to hold shift on the keyboard to select all of the other images. You'll see they're all in white. The image that I'm referencing is in yellow. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit sync. And now it's going to ask me, what do you want to sync? Well, we want to do the color adjustments, all these other things. We're going to hit sync. And guess what? All of the images, as you can see here, this is what I was talking about with batch editing. Like, how amazing is that? Come on, guys, leave me a comment. Come on. That's like wowzers, OMG. And in a matter of seconds, I'm done with this photo shoot. The next feature I want to show you is how to export your images out of Evoto. So here at the bottom, you have your thumbnails. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can press Control A to select them all, or you can do individual ones by holding Command, or you can hold Shift. So get your first image and Shift and grab everything in between. Now, once you have the images you want to export, is these images that are currently edited, you have not been charged to do it. Evoto works with a credit system. Each photo, when you export, it will then add the credit. So 1 credit per export. So when I select my images, and you'll see once again, that's why it's watermarked here. If you're wondering why was it watermarked, it's because it's just a preview, right? And once I'm ready to export, then I can go to export. And what you'll see is I have my exporting options. I can export to, let's say, for example, specific folder. I'll put it on the desktop. I'll just name it Evoto test, hit create, and hit open. And of course, you can apply so many other things. I like to add Evoto to the custom text. But if you're wondering the credit system, this is what we have here. There's so many plans that you can get. Now I know what somebody's going to say in the comment section. Oh man, I'm not going to be spending money on the editing. That's ridiculous. I'm going to do it myself. It's free if I do it myself. Look, you can do it by yourself. Yes, you're right. It's free if you do it manually. But what's not, it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you time. For me, Evoto has been extremely helpful. I've been booking a lot of clients. And for me, I love the shooting part as a portrait photographer. And I know a lot of you guys out there, let me know in the comments. I know we love to shoot. Editing is great and all, but I'd rather spend more time shooting. And so for me, it's worth the investment. Now, I know everybody's going to have different opinions on this, okay? Some of you are going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to make that investment to do credits. That's going to be up to you. I just want to show you what's been beneficial for me the past few months that I've been using Evoto. All right. So let's get back over here. And once we hit export, you will be able to export into TIFF, JPEGs, however you want. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is I do have a code, thanks to Evoto for sponsoring the video, but also giving me a code for you guys. You can save 20% off by using the link, but also using my code Eli20. And if I go back into the export settings, you'll see right here, it says JPEG. And then, of course, you have all of these other options that you would normally get in a raw editor, and then you would hit export, and then the credit system would then apply. Evoto for me, guys, has been a complete game changer for me because I've been able to save a lot of time, with the client photo shoots that I do, the YouTube content, the creative shoots. This has just sped up my workflow, and I can just tell you an honest opinion that this software is only gonna get better, and I'm excited to see where Evoto is gonna go from this point forward. Thank you guys for watching, and once again, if you do decide to try out Evoto, there is a free trial, and I do have my code that I'll have linked in the description.